Welcome back to Automation Campaign. This time we're on episode number 17, and a fitting title for this could be Suffering from Success, because so many people want to buy our cars, yet we can't produce as many as we want because we have so many unfilled pre-orders. So the main focus for today's video is to make a few facelifts, actually make a few new generations of cars because some are getting quite old, and obviously expand our factories. So right now we have to facelift the Monolita van, the Ryokato budget hatchback, and then a brand new Koala, brand new Luchula sporty car, and yeah, a brand new U100 pickup because this one's really old. So all these cars are powered by these two inline-4 engines. We'll start with those, add a few tweaks to them, optimize for emissions. Yeah, so the only thing I've done for these engines is add variable valve timing. It adds like 3 or 4 horsepower each, not that much, but it's super good for emissions. Now our bigger inline 2, which comes in 1.8, 1.4, which is a bit of a lower mid-range thing. I think the 2-liter engine, so the 2-liter naturally aspirated and the 2-liter turbo, will get all cams with variable valve timing. For a really nice power bump, but I think the 1.8 will stay the same since it's a bit lower end. And now I've just got to quickly facelift the Ryokato and the Monolita. Now after facelifting the Redeno, the Monolita van, and finally and the Ryokato, I've changed their front ends a bit to update them a bit, make them more modern. Now remember that I still have an engine to do. It should be a 1.8 turbo 4-cylinder from the G series to serve as a middle ground between the non-turbo 2-liter and the turbo 2-liter. With the small stuff and engines out of the way, it's now time to make some brand new cars. So first off, I'll do the Koala. This time it will be in its 5th generation. Now sadly I do have to go with this body. I know it's been reused, but it's the best I have right now for this size. I'll try to make it look different. Thankfully the slope on the side isn't as big as on the Dolce Vita LP. And for the first time, since I'm going to a bigger factory, I'll just go ahead and use treated steel for the whole body, because up until now this was produced in a medium factory and now I'm going to a large factory. Yeah, I think the medium is really hampering it. I'll put the 1.5-liter engine in the base model. 5-speed transmission. Yeah, for now I'll keep standard interior, basic entertainment for this. I'm not going to CD quite yet, maybe on the higher trim. I'd say the result I've gotten from this is satisfactory. The desirability is good, in fact better than the old generation. And as for the looks, it's ready for the brand new decade. I now have a new front-end design language because I was worried what we had before couldn't translate well into the 2000s, but I've managed it. The split grill is still here. Goes well with the lights, and the rear end is a bit more conventional. It mirrors what was before. I'm happy to say that the super version is returning, this time with a turbo. So it's the 1.8 turbo engine, 160 horsepower. I put on a spoiler, a lip, some nicer rims, and in terms of performance, it's a peppy car. Yep, it's pretty fun, not very fast, but I'd say 160 horsepower is enough to have some fun. I'll base the brand new Dolce Vita CC on the 1.8 Super Turbo, but put in some nicer interior, maybe soften up this suspension since it's supposed to still be a city car, not a sporty car, and then I will turn the heat up for the faster one. You can go for premium CD. Yes, it doesn't look like I get any more engineering time, and obviously since it was a hatchback, I'll go for that. I think I'll go with a 6-speed gearbox since it's an upmarket car. I'm also done with the Dolce Vita version of this platform, and compared to the last generation, desirability is super nice, at least 100%. Before that I had kind of bad desirability in City Premium, and in terms of looks, this is what it's like. Looks like the other Dolce Vita cars, but you know, that's what I kind of try to do in this playthrough. And I've also made the higher trim Dolce Vita with the 2-liter turbo engine, almost 200 horsepower, a bit stiffer suspension, grippier tires. That's pretty much it. It's also got nice desirability, and I think I'll just do this whole facelift in 40 months. The Luchula needs yet another replacement since I've let it run its course for way too long again, and by now it's getting really outdated. Starting work on the new Luchula here, and I think I'll go with this body. I'll go with partial aluminium to keep the weight down, and I did some testing before, and I have to go with advanced high strength steel instead of normal steel because otherwise it won't pass safety, and like this it's also getting less weight. The base model will have the 1.8 liter engine this time. I think 1.5 90 horsepower is kind of too little. Maybe I can get away with non-power steering, just ABS standard safety, keeping the cost down. And wow, this is very light. For the design I went with something a bit more unconventional overall. The front looks like the brand new Luchula I've just made. It ties in nicely since it has an angle, it's a bit sharp, but the rear end is made as a throwback to the first generation Luchula. So new front, old back, overall ties in really nicely. This body is so good. And for the desirability, the car is a really polished product. I think a new car segment becomes really good when you're on your third generation. I've also made this 2-liter supercar a super model. It's not a supercar, it's just the super trim, and the things it has added is a limited slip differential and slightly wider tires, maybe. Oh yes, and suspension tuning to make it a bit more sporty. I'm also deciding to bring back the Dolce Vita RC as a cheaper sports car, and this will get the 1.8 turbo engine. For the design of this, I went with something a bit more conventional, a bit more normal for Dolce Vita, so the front is very similar to the other cars I've got. Now the rear, I've made it blend in with the body lines here. It's a bit of an awkward situation. And that side profile, that nice sweeping roofline, very nice desirability yet again. Now I'll be replacing the absolute oldest car I've got in production, the Yo 100 pickup. I'm actually going to keep the 2.6 meter wheelbase from the previous generation because again Frenia still has some very small narrow roads, and also people don't want to pay that much on gas. And I also make a bigger pickup, like around 3 meter, 3.2 meter wheelbase, so there should be a bigger difference between them. But the bigger pickup is something for a different episode. So yet again, fully treated steel, partial unibody. Now I'll actually put in some independent suspension in the front, but the cheapest kind, fierce strut, and traditionally coils at the back. I think I'll still keep the 1.5 liter base model around. I'm now done with the pickup. I've made every single trim and there's quite a bit to unpack here. So here I've got the normal D100, the really basic version, 1.5 engine rear wheel drive. Then the 1.8, which also comes with all-wheel drive, and the 2.0, which adds in an automatic transmission, locking differentials, and a few nicer bits. But I've also introduced this SUV, the Tasso I've decided to call it, which means Badger in Italian. I think it's a good name, a bit sporty. It's based on the pickup pretty much. So this is the SUV version of the 1.8, this is the SUV version of the 2.0. And I've also done the engineering in the meantime. This will all take 44 months, cost quite a lot, so billions must be spent. And now the big news is that the pickup and the Koala are moving into brand new large factories. The medium factories just don't do it anymore. Here's also all the other cars. I'll just have to fast forward to until here, when in the next episode I'll update the higher end cars. Since we've got quite a lot of cars to test drive, I've went ahead and spawned them all in, and we'll start with the least interesting and work our way up to most interesting. First off, the brand new Koala. Pretty bland, it definitely looks better than the last generation, and it's ready for the new millennium. Let's see how it does normal driving. Straight ahead, there's some wheel spin even when I try to slowly get away, which I don't like. I don't think it's the car's fault, but rather automation not giving you good tires. Like the standard tires are super bad, and yeah, this car being front wheel drive makes it worse because there's less grip. But otherwise, for normal driving, it's very good. Corners are alright if you don't try to take them in a sporty manner. Oh wow, the understeer is bad. Yeah, sadly this has always happened no matter what I try with front wheel drive cars. At least it's better than what was before. If like the last generation was even more understeery because of the way it was set up. Yep, it also has very decent highway performance. This is the 1.8 model, by the way, with 118 horsepower. Yeah, but the understeer man, it's real. Well, hopefully the customers don't take it racing. We do have the turbo version, but that comes with grippier tires, which I think solves the problem. Moving on onto the U100, the new generation of the pickup, it's also got the same engine as the Koala. As starting off, it drives much more nicely due to not being front wheel drive. So the front wheels aren't both occupied with acceleration and steering. Let's try a bit of off-roading because it's already good on the street, but it has to be good off-road. Let's put it in four-wheel drive. Take off. Maybe we need 4 low to tackle this. It's trying, it's going. Oh, looks like I didn't fully accelerate, but this is pretty good for not having locking diffs and no off-road tires. Not work here. So this should definitely handle some trails pretty well. Moving on to a brand new car, a brand new model line, the Fusco Tasso, which is based on the U100 pickup, but it's an SUV, our first SUV in fact, and I've still tried to keep it true to its origin. This is the top trim with a 2-liter engine and locking differentials and an automatic transmission. I'll see how it drives on the road first. But it's not that much more different from the pickup. And since I got a 2-liter engine with, I think, 130 horsepower or almost 130, it's got some punch to it. Especially because it doesn't weigh that much. I think 1.3, 1.4 tons at most. Actually, no, I think it's 1.3 tons. Again, it's pretty good on the highway and has let's see how it does with sharp turn. Maybe not here. Let's go a bit off-road. There's this trail coming up right here, and in fact, why not, let's just straight up try to climb the hill. Let's put it through a test just like the pickup. So I'll need 4 low, also locking the differentials, and it does nicely. So this is capable also off the road, not just on the road. So it's a great family car if you're going somewhere in the mountains for holiday, or if you just live there and want to have more seats than a pickup. Finally, moving on to the sporty cars, starting off with the Luchula. Now, in just its 3rd generation, since the first 2 generations lasted quite a long time, and the rear end is made as a throwback to the 1st generation. It's also got the 1.8 engine, but it's a lot lighter, so I'm expecting some better results. Yep, it's pretty fast because it's so light, 940 kilograms I think, which actually is as light as the 2nd generation, and that was slower to the engine, so overall it's an improvement in all areas. takes this mountain road very nicely. No understeer, no the oversteer here is very controllable. That's a great entry-level sports car. Oh, it grips so nice in the corners. Let's see how it does through this tight one. Very nice as well. Moving on to the Dolce Vita version of the Luchula, the RC, making its return in quite a long time, because the first time it was made was the first generation Luchula. When that ended, the production stopped, but now it's back from dead with a 1.8 turbo engine, making about almost 160 horsepower. Right off the bat, I can notice it's a lot more refined. The Luchula was a bit more playful, but this is a lot more planted, and the power delivery from the turbo helps because you don't really have to rev it to get something out of it. Thankfully, the grip is still there, but this one is a bit more cushy. You know, maybe you want to go on a trip, so instead of a grand tourer, it's a mini tourer. Yeah, that's how I want to put it. It's a tamed light sports car. Also, the turbo noises are super nice. Last but not least, the brand new Dolce Vita CC, this time with a 2-liter turbo engine. Almost 200 horsepower, let's say 196, 195. It's based on the Koala that I tested at the beginning, but as you can see, there is a lot more grip in it because of the tires. Yeah, the standard tires just suck for front-wheel drive cars, even if in reality they don't suck that much. Like if you get your standard normal tires on front-wheel drive car, it doesn't understeer that bad. And I tried to make the graph when tuning the suspension not understeer. But this one is a very fine car, I'd say. Yeah, great straight line speed. I think it represents the premium hatchback in 2000 very well. Oh, let's do a bit of track driving. I'll go backwards, but whatever, we'll see how it does in tight corners. This chicane here, it has some very tight angles, so, well, cars that are set up well and have grip won't have trouble with it. And I think mine just about passes the test. I didn't have to fight with it. Just a tiny bit of understeer through that left-hander, but otherwise, yeah, front-wheel drive doesn't hold it back that much. I'll see you in the next episode where I try to expand upon my inline 6 car lineup, maybe give the luxury car a refresh. I think I'll build a brand new bigger pickup truck. Goodbye.